What's up, everybody? This is the DeFi enthusiast from the Crypto Ronins. I hope that you're all doing well. Today, we have a lot to unpack here, guys. The price of Bitcoin at the time of this recording is $71,265, and the Bitcoin dominance is at 57.2%, Ethereum at 10%, and we are seeing some positivity in the market, regardless of whatever chaos is going on. So today, I'm going to break it down for you guys that how this current war situation with Iran is triggering massive liquidity into the markets. Basically, the simple concept is of money printing. When you start printing money, right, it's obviously getting devalued, paper money, and deflationary assets start to rise up. And as we can see with Bitcoin, this is what's happening right now. And so we're going to break this down today, guys. This is very, very important. So you guys don't want to miss this. Please subscribe to the channel and don't forget to share this with your friends and family and everybody that you know. Okay, guys? So let's get into it now. This is our thesis: the 3.7 trillion stablecoin machine. Why crypto is quietly becoming the plumbing of global finance. So, for years, most people believe crypto was built to replace the financial system, right? This was well established. A lot of people crypto maxes have always theorized it as well. And, to an extent, it was quite true. But things are really, really taking a turn in a different direction right now. Basically the initial theory was that Bitcoin would replace banks, altcoins would disrupt Wall Street, right? And governments would eventually lose control. But the reality unfolding right now is far more interesting. Crypto is not replacing the system. Crypto is becoming the infrastructure of the system. Okay. And the number that explains everything is the $3.7 trillion. That number comes from projections around how stablecoins could absorb U.S. government debt as the system evolves. To understand why this matters, we need to start with the real problem. The real problem is the $38 trillion US debt. This is something that I've discussed countless of times, guys. And now it's more prominent than ever. The United States currently has roughly 38 trillion in national debt, right? The debt needs constant buyers. For decades, the largest buyers were China, Japan, foreign central banks, pension funds, traditional financial institutions. But that system is slowly changing. China has been reducing Treasury exposure. Foreign demand is no longer expanding the way it used to. So the question becomes simple. Who will buy the next trillions of US debt? And the surprising answer is emerging from crypto. Stablecoins are often misunderstood, guys. They are not just digital dollars used for trading. They are financial vehicles built around U.S. Treasury bonds. Okay? When someone buys a stablecoin like USDT or USDC, the issuer needs to hold reserves. The safest reserve asset is short-term U.S. Treasury bills. That means every time stablecoin supply increases, more Treasury bonds are purchased. Tether alone has accumulated tens of billions of dollars in U.S. Treasuries, making it one of the largest buyers of U.S. government debt globally. This is already happening today, and it's accelerating. If we look at the institutional shift here, what makes this moment different is that institutions are now building directly on blockchain rails. Major banks are experimenting with stablecoin infrastructure: JPMorgan, Bank of America, Citibank, Wells Fargo, right? Asset managers like BlackRock are launching tokenized funds on blockchain networks. We've already talked, Scott Bessent has already talked about the tokenization of the S&P 500. How everything is going to be moving to the blockchain. The tokenization of everything has constantly been a subject matter, that has been discussed by Larry Fink of BlackRock constantly again and again. So, things are moving in a direction which is absolutely monumental, but most people are not realizing that because of the massive market manipulation that has been going on. So Standard Chartered has projected that the stablecoin market alone could reach $1 trillion. And when that happens, something is going to really, really, emerge. And that is a new liquidity loop. Okay. So the traditional banking system works like this. You deposit money in a bank, right? The bank lends it out. The bank captures the yield, right? Stablecoins create a different structure. Money enters crypto. Stablecoin issuers buy treasury bonds. The stablecoins circulate across exchanges and DeFi. Those dollars then get reinvested again through tokenized assets, which can lead back to more treasury purchases. This creates what some analysts call a dollar recycling loop. Liquidity enters crypto, crypto buys treasuries, stablecoin circulates it through digital markets, and the cycle continues. At large enough scales, at large enough scale, this loop could move trillions of dollars, guys, potentially. And now when we come to the current situation, which is going on with the war in Iran, right? Now, this is where things become geopolitical because stablecoins are not just financial instruments, they are also tools of economic power. Recent blockchain research found that the central bank of Iran accumulated at least $507 million in Tether USDT stablecoin, likely to stabilize its currency and bypass international banking restrictions. Iran's banking system is heavily sanctioned, as we know. Traditional dollar transactions are restricted, but stablecoins operate on global blockchain networks. That means they can function as shadow dollar reserves outside the traditional banking system. For countries under sanctions, this is extremely valuable. For the United States, it creates a paradox. Stablecoins expand the reach of the dollar globally, but they also create new channels that governments cannot fully control, and this is why stablecoins are becoming a geopolitical background. They sit directly at the intersection of finance, technology, sanctions, enforcement, and global liquidity. And honestly, guys, even if we look at, you can verify this for yourselves, but Iran actually right now, with whatever is going on, I don't care what side you're on. I'm not really going to get into that, but I honestly think that wars are just an absolute disaster, and no country should intervene in any other country for that matter. But unfortunately, the track record of the United States has always been to interfere in every other country's business, and thus it creates a war machine. The military industrial complex gets more emboldened, more empowered. But obviously that also creates massive amounts of printing of the US dollar, thus devaluing your buying power, devaluing the US dollar. And what actually benefits you then? It's deflationary assets like gold, silver, Bitcoin, crypto, real estate, all of these things, guys. So yes, it's an unfortunate thing, but from an investor's point of view, it's like, buy when things are when there's fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and there's chaos, right? So every adversity has an opportunity, right? So this is where it's at, and that's why we see the price. Initially, as I showed you, the price of Bitcoin was above 71,000. I think now we're seeing the effects of Bitcoin, the importance of Bitcoin, and guess what? Iran has been buying more and more Bitcoin right now, and actually it's keeping it in self-custody as well. This is the power of crypto. This is the power of blockchain. This is the power of Bitcoin, guys. You can't control it, and unless, some black swan, unless the craziest thing happens that all internet and all technology goes away, this thing is the most potent and reliable solution out there. You can't transfer a ton of gold to different countries. You can't transfer money like that. Iran's own money has gone to almost zero, guys. So their hedge is Tether and Bitcoin. Okay? And it's very, very important to remember that. And so, we are really, really seeing a massive shift in crypto right now in front of our very eyes, and seeing it actually work for its purpose, being a hedge against devaluing fiat. Okay. Now let's go back to our 3.7 trillion projection, right? So some projections suggest stablecoin systems could eventually absorb trillions of dollars in US Treasury debt. If that happens, crypto infrastructure becomes one of the largest buyers of government debt in the world, potentially larger than China, Japan, and many sovereign funds. At that point, crypto stops being a speculative market. It becomes core financial infrastructure. The big narrative most investors are missing is that most investors are focusing on meme coins, short-term pumps, trading narratives, because they're suffering through their PTSD of the FTX crash, the so on crash, the Gary Gensler crash. Once he left, the Trump administration coming in, and then, launching a meme coin, and then the pump fund madness of casino complete betting situation going on that it was just crazy haywire, and people lost a lot of money, unfortunately. And I already explained to you how the U.S. was going to pay its debt by literally liquidating most of the future traders, and that's exactly what happened, guys. So we're always ahead of the game. We understand these markets better than most people, and that's why you should be joining our newsletter. But the real transformation is happening at the infrastructure level, guys. Okay, stable coins, tokenized assets, institutional blockchain settlement layers. These are the systems quietly preparing to move trillions through crypto markets. And when liquidity enters the system, it spreads outward, first into Bitcoin, then into major crypto assets, and eventually across the entire digital asset ecosystem. So the conclusion is, here's a simple way to understand this. The United States needs buyers for its debt. Stablecoins buy U.S. government debt. Crypto infrastructure allows stablecoins to expand globally. That means crypto is not just speculation anymore. It is becoming a new distribution system for the US dollar. And if coins continue to scale, trillions of dollars could move through blockchain networks, which means the future of finance may not be traditional banking versus crypto. It may be traditional finance rebuilt on crypto rails. And we're already seeing Brian Armstrong from Coinbase was just talking about this just recently, guys. You think AI agents are going to be using, lackluster banking systems to transact? No, they're already using cryptocurrency as a form of payments because they need something which is fast, efficient, is done in milliseconds. And that's where crypto is. And, it's decentralized and there's no intermediary or any permission, it's permissionless as well, right? So that's what AI agents are already using, guys. The AI infrastructure is using the crypto payment rails already. And where are things heading? These things are heading towards massive AI adoption. Massive AI adoption is also massive crypto adoption. Does that make sense to you? If it doesn't make sense to you, I can't help you, but it's so obvious. It's so plain in sight. So, you got to remain patient, guys. You got to remain patient. You have to, build from here. You have to invest. You have to trust the process. Okay, guys. And we at Crypto Owners have the right mindset. We have the right framework for you to understand all of this so that you can navigate these markets in a mature and sustainable way. And one other thing that I need to show you guys, it's, a couple of things, but we're going to get into it in just a moment. Since we're talking about, the Clarity Act and the Genius Act and all of that, the Clarity Act is supposed to, unlock trillions of dollars. And, we've already discussed, the potential. But the biggest problem right now is that the bill in its current form isn't great because, Jamie Dimon from JPMorgan, for example, said that, crypto users should only earn 0.33% or whatever, from stablecoins. They are not fans of DeFi, of course, because they know that DeFi and decentralized finance and crypto companies offer way better yield on stablecoins. And, they're trying to undermine the entire concept of crypto. And basically, I also find it ridiculous in many ways that, a system that was really built, by retail, right? And that really started to take shape, and everybody started to turn their heads and started to notice that this is a real force to be reckoned with would actually want government intervention to begin with, and for the sake of mass adoption. I think mass adoption could take place as an alternative system as well. I've never been a fan of institutions coming into crypto, guys, if I'd be very honest with you, because I think it undermines the entire process. I think they're creating a lot of hurdles, they're creating a lot of problems. This also, caused the delay in altcoin season because, this whole Clarity Act nonsense. And basically it's been a tug of war between crypto companies and the banks right now. And obviously Charles Hoskinson from Cardano, he has some really, really accurate words, I would say. He's very right about this bill. It's not a good bill, in its current form, and it needs to be amended because we do want, yield on stablecoins. We do want crypto companies to flourish. And, if they continue with this direction, I'm telling you already, the US will not be the primary force, for the crypto industry. China will take over, and so will the Middle East. They will totally take over, and this new financial system, which is out of the control of the banks, because AI agents are already using crypto, is going to be out of their control. So they have to do something that benefits everyone, okay, especially the crypto retail side, or else, it's a complete failure. So this is what Hoskinson has to say, and I actually agree with him.
This bill, as written, everything starts as a security. XRP starts as a security, Cardano starts as security, Ethereum starts as a security, all kinds of things there. Do you understand that an adversarial SEC, this is a fucking wet dream? You start as a security. All new cryptocurrency projects, the legacy ones like Cardano and Ethereum and XRP will likely be grandfathered in. Everybody else starts as a security, all new projects. And then rulemaking in a room with people, eventually the Democrats who are right now campaigning on all crypto is corruption, crypto equals Trump equals bad, will kick into effect. It'll take years to get through, and then these standards will come out. And instead of having Scary Gary rolling the dice with no law and ambiguity in a court that's favorable to us, they now have 33. With no developer protections, they were stripped out, everything starting as a security by default, and numerous procedural attack vectors to keep you as a security forever. So people, have a fact-based conversation. Read the bill. Start from source material, HR 3, and just ask a question. If it starts as a security, what stops them from keeping it as a security forever? And are we really sure that we can trust that to rulemaking that has yet to happen by people who have yet to be appointed by agencies that spent the last 4 fucking years suing everybody and throwing everybody in prison? Honestly speaking, Does that make any sense at all to you? No.
Yeah, he's right. I actually agree with him because in its current form, with all these limitations on crypto, it's a trashy bill and it shouldn't be passed. Either the bill should, accommodate crypto retail. It should accommodate crypto users. It should accommodate the ability for stablecoins because these legacy banks have destroyed the entire system. They are part of the problem. They're not part of the solution, and crypto is part of the solution and not part of the problem. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to make crypto a part of their, agenda, part of what they want. They want most. They're greedy people that want to keep the majority of the share of the money, and they don't want to distribute, and they don't want this innovative process that allows normal people to be financially free to actually be financially free. So I actually agree with Hoskinson, and now here's what's interesting. Trump actually took notice of this, and this is what he wrote yesterday. The Genius Act is being threatened and undermined by the banks, and that is unacceptable. We're not going to allow it. The U.S. needs to get market structure done as soon as possible. Americans should earn more money on their money. The banks are hitting record profits, and we are not going to allow them to undermine our powerful crypto agenda that will end up going to China and other countries if we don't get the Clarity Act taken care of. The Genius Act was the USA's first big step to make the United States the crypto capital of the world, and getting the Clarity Act done is the next step to finish the job, and most importantly, keep this big and powerful industry in our country. The banks should not be trying to undercut the Genius Act or hold the Clarity Act hostage. They need to make a good deal with the crypto industry because that's what's in the best interest of the American people. This industry cannot be taken from the people of America when it is so close to becoming truly successful. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So Trump obviously has taken notice of this, and he is talking about it, and he had already promised. In my opinion, Trump's tenure has been over-promising and under-delivering. He said there'll be no war started. He said there'll be no intervention. He said he's going to end the horrible situation going on in Gaza. That didn't happen either. Actually, if you think about it, because still, no matter what side you're on, Israel continues to bomb the Gaza Strip. Unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. The tensions in the Middle East are a big, big problem, guys. Big problem. So the thing is, what we need to realize here is that, and obviously, if you ask me personally, I don't want to get into the politics of things, but you can ask any professional SEAL from the U.S., who has served in major operations, top military analysts. They all say they're losing this current war as well. So, and then obviously there's all that controversial stuff with the Epstein files as well. So there are so many things that are against Trump. So he needs one major win here, and if he is able to get crypto done correctly and give good financial sovereignty to the American public, he could save some grace for his tarnished legacy. And I'm not an anti-Trump guy. I'm not anti anybody. I'm just being neutral. I'm just telling you the facts. It's not my opinion. These are facts. So if he's able to get this right, he might be able to save some face, end his tenure gracefully, no matter how false and how crazy it has been. This is just my personal opinion again here, but what I've mentioned here are all the facts. The U.S. is not winning this war. Okay, guys, which is happening right now. The tensions later on, and they were not prepared for it, and they were not ready for it. You can check the facts and figures, no matter what Trump says. These are just pure facts here, guys. So, in my opinion, he needs a major win financially. Okay, he needs financial relief for the Americans. He needs to get this crypto act done properly, or else it's another over-promising, delivering situation again that is going to take place, and it's not going to be, and it's going to be I think, stain on his legacy, or whatever legacy he wanted to create, supposedly. One other bullish news, guys. This is massive. Morpher is proud to announce the signing of a memorandum of understanding with ANDE, the National Electricity Administration of Paraguay. This agreement establishes a formal framework for cooperation and technical coordination between Morpher and ANDE, focused on the analysis and development of initiatives related to digital assets, advanced processing infrastructure, and strategic energy-driven technology opportunities in Paraguay. As part of this shared strategic direction, Morpher and ANDE will also explore the role of Bitcoin mining as a national-level opportunity within Paraguay's broader energy and digital infrastructure landscape. This marked an important step in Morpher's long-term vision to help position Paraguay at the forefront of next-generation digital infrastructure where energy, compute, and digital asset innovation can come together at scale. Okay? So this is massive, guys. The signing of this agreement creates an official path for further technical evaluation, coordination, and project development under Paraguay's legal and regulatory framework, and reflects the serious intent of both parties to advance meaningful opportunities in this sector. Ande has unlocked a powerful new asset, and Morpher is here to turn that asset into a new revenue engine for Paraguay. By redeploying Bitcoin miners on regulated utility-controlled sites, they can transform unused electricity into productive compute that serves both the Bitcoin network and the global AI economy. This is what the future of midstream electricity looks like, that do not just deliver power, but own a stake in the digital infrastructure they enable. This is a major milestone for Morpher, of course, and a clear sign of the scale of what is being built. Kenzo Trading, the founder and CEO of Morpher. Now, I have interviewed him several times, guys, and this is a massive, massive news. You know what this means, guys? Morpher is going to be the bridge. It's going to be the connecting bridge, and, to create the strategic reserve for Bitcoin in Paraguay. Okay, they already have the mining sites. They're already getting more miners. They're already building new sites. They have real infrastructure. It's not vaporware. Like I've been telling you guys from the beginning, I called Morpher super early. People did 100x on it, and I think they're going to do 1,000x, if things go well right now. It has retraced, but it's still, from my call, it is still more than 10x. It's still a 10x if you got in when I told you to get into Morpher. Okay, massive, massive opportunity here, guys, and it's only the beginning. I think this is huge, and because Paraguay is the next big economic hub, and especially it's the next big avenue for crypto, this is a major milestone, guys. And I will be interviewing him again as well, and we're going to be discussing further, how this plays out and what is the role of the XMW token and all of that. But this is incredible news, guys. Like I've always said, our research is top notch. I'm proud to say that, things, I get vindicated every time. I do a thesis, on a company that delivers, and it does deliver. When I'm very confident on it, it does deliver. It's because of my years of experience in this industry, in this market, and I understand it. To navigate this market, I highly recommend that you join our newsletter. Okay. It's going to remove a lot of confusion. It's going to give you a lot of great projects, and alpha and so many things, because now we're going to start seeing hopefully a proper market uprise. Because remember, like I said, infinite money printing right now that has been going on because of this war, that rate cuts coming, the blockchain summit that is about to take place, major people like Michael Saylor and many others and big crypto companies that are about to, give huge presentations. This Clarity Act, if passed properly, is going to be very, very positive for crypto. There are a lot of indicators that are saying that, things are about to go up, okay, rather than down. All right. As always, guys, if you want to navigate the market, join our group. If you're confused about crypto, if you don't have the understanding, you're lost, join our newsletter, and eventually you can get mentorship from us as well, which is through our private group. But join the newsletter. I think that is going to be more than enough for you to, start making some really, really life-changing money. Again, nothing is guaranteed. Things can be unpredictable, but we've been in this market. So if you want somebody to, give you the right information, the best information possible with, properly researched, well-researched companies that are building in this crypto space, then join Crypto Ronins now, guys. It's imperative that you do. This is me, the DeFi enthusiast, signing out from the Crypto Ronins. I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are. Take care of yourselves. Bye.